Hello everyone. So today we are going to solve this passage which came in 9th October exam, and it is named as the Dingo debate. So the date of the examination was 9th October. All right. So the Dingo debate. It is generally considered as a difficult passage. Let's see what the question types are. So first of all, there are which paragraph contains the following information. So there are 7 questions for which paragraph contains the following information, and then which section contains the following information, and then there are match each statement with the correct person ABCD. So there are 4 persons given ABCD. So you have to match these 8, 9, 10 with any one of these. And then the third one is fill ups no more than 2 words. That means you can give answer in 1 word or 2 words. Both are acceptable. All right, so let's get straight into it. How to do this one? Which section contains the following information? So we'll just read this one, the first thing, and then we'll go through all these ones. And simultaneously, we'll mark these names wherever we get that, we are able to find answers to these ones. And we'll also ensure that if some of the fill-ups are in between. So we'll take all of these simultaneously. And so for doing which section contains the following information, first of all, just go through all these ones so that we are aware that what to find. So first is a description of a barrier designed to stop dingoes, which also divides two kinds of non-native animals. So dingo debate. So dingo is basically a kind of animal. So a description of a barrier designed to stop dingoes. Maybe something is put on to stop them entering. How dingoes ensure the rival species do not dominate. Dingoes ensure that the species, the rival species do not dominate. A reference to widespread non-native species that other animals feed on. Okay, mention of dingoes' arrival in Canada. In Australia. Research which has proved that dingoes have resorted to eating young livestock. Okay, young livestock. And then a description of method used to kill dingoes. Okay. So here it's kill dingoes. Here it's that they have resorted eating young livestock. Here is their arrival. Here is something related to rivals. And here is a barrier. Okay, the way that the structure of dingo groups affect how quickly their numbers grow. So here is the structure of the dingo group. And then we have to find these names: Stott McKinney, Chris Johnson, Lee Ellen, Mark Clifford, and these ones. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Let's read. Okay. All right. A plain graziers see them as pests, and poisoning is common. But some biologists think Australia's dingoes are best weapon in a war against imported cats and foxes. So these are all the viewpoints. Some people think that these are good, some think that these are bad. That's why it's named as the dingo debate. A plane flies a slow pattern over Carlton Hill Station, a 3,600 square kilometer ranch in the Kimberley region in northwest Australia. As the plane circles, those aboard drop 1,000 small pieces of meat, maybe killing them or something, one by one onto the scrubland below, each piece laced with poison. This practice is known as baiting. Besides 5,000 head of cattle, Carlton Hill is home to dingo, Australia's largest mammalian predator, and the bane for grazier cattle farmers' life, means some kind of disadvantage for these farmers. Stott McKinney. Okay, so we are going to mark this. Complains that graziers' livestock's livelihoods are threatened when dingoes prey on cattle. But one man wants the baiting to end. Okay, so here they are explaining that they are being killed. Here they are saying that why they are, impacting the livelihood of farmers. But here they are saying that despite that, one man wants this baiting, that this killing of dingoes wants the baiting to end, and for dingoes to once again roam Australia's wide open spaces, according to Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, Australia needs. Okay, so Chris is saying that Australia needs more dingoes, but Stott is saying that dingoes are impacting the livelihood of farmers. All right. Let's see. So we are done with A. Let's move to the questions. A description of a barrier against dingoes to stop. All right. Rival species, no. Feeding, no. Dingoes arrival, no. Killing dingoes, no. Young livestock, no. The way that structure of dingo group affects, no. Killing of dingoes, I guess. Yes, a description of, so sixth one, read sixth one. A description of a method used to kill dingoes, which is known as this thing. So it's in paragraph A. And then again, we are able to find these two names. Dingoes tend to hunt native animals, so they're not talking about native animals. The presence of dingoes puts the income of some people at risk. Yes. Dingoes have had little impact on dying out animal species. Dying out animal species, no, they are not talking about this one, but they are definitely talking about this one, that the income of some people at risk. Because here they are saying that complains. Who complains? Stott McKinney complains that graziers' livelihoods are threatened. So who is saying Stott? That means A, so ninth is A. So we read passage 1 and we are able to do 2 questions. Now similarly, we'll read passage 2, B, and we'll see if we are able to find any. And we'll also see these ones. All right. So about 4,000 years ago, Asian sailors introduced dingoes to Australia. Yes, so there was one thing here which was saying that introduction of dingoes to Australia, right? Remember? Asian sailors introduced dingoes to Australia. So this was the first thing, like how they arrive. So dingoes arrival in Australia. So it's very clearly written in B. So be careful that it's not like if B is already, there for 4, then B would not be the answer to any others. B could be answer to any others as well. So we'll keep on reading and we'll also keep on marking the names. So the ensuing millennia, these descendants of wolves spread across the continent, and as the Tasmanian tiger disappeared completely from Australia, dingoes became Australia's top predators. Okay, so here they are saying that how they were introduced. They were introduced as Tasmanian tigers completely disappeared. That's why dingoes became Australia's top predators after Tasmanian tigers. As agricultural development took place, the European settlers found that they could not safely keep their livestock where dingoes roamed. Okay, so there is a rivalry between dingoes and livestock. Maybe dingoes are killing livestock. Livestock means cattle like buffaloes and cows. Europe, okay, so began one of the most sustained effort at pest control in Australia's history. Over the last 150 years, dingoes have been shot and poisoned. Okay, so killing them. And fences have been used in an attempt to keep them away. So that means a barrier. There is a question related to barrier. As the European settlers try to eliminate native pests of Australia, they introduce more of them. Okay. Let's see. A barrier designed to stop dingoes, which also divides two kinds of non-native animals. Okay. So here they are saying that fences have been used to attempt to keep the livestock away. So barrier designed to stop dingoes, yes. But at the same time, European settlers tried to eliminate one native pest from Australia. They introduced more of their own. Okay. So yes, probably if any other paragraph is not containing this information, then surely B is the answer. But as of now, I'll go through this one again. Dingoes include rival species, non-native species, feeding. Feeding is not being talked about. Eating young livestock, no. Killing dingoes. Oh, killing dingoes. So it was not for 7th. It was for 6th. So 6th is A. 7th is still pending. All right. So we are done with this one. And now let's see. But there is no name in B paragraph? The dingo replaced what? The dingo replaced dash as the main predatory animal in Australia. Yes, so here in this paragraph, we were discussing that they became the top predator because the Tasmanian tiger disappeared. So replaced means previously there were Tasmanian tigers uh, as Australia's top predators, but now as they disappeared, dingoes became Australia's top predators. So the dingo replaced the dash. So dingo replaced the Tasmanian tigers. So answer to 11th is Tasmanian tiger. All right. So this is done. Foxes and cats not. So we have not read it yet. Australian mammal reproduce. No, we have not gone through reproduction. All right. So C. Let's see. Okay. So B A. Okay. All right. C. In 1860, the rabbit was unleashed on Australia by a wealthy landowner, and by 1980, rabbits had covered most of the mainland. So there is a reference of another thing, like firstly dingo, and then they talked about livestock, and then they are talking about rabbit. Third thing. Oops, all right. In 1860, the rabbit was unleashed on Australia by a wealthy landowner, and by 1980, rabbits had covered most of the mainland. Introduced by a wealthy landowner in 1860, but by 1980, rabbits had covered most of the mainland. Means overpopulation or something. Rabbits provide huge prey base for other two introduced species, feral wildcat and red fox. That means red fox and wildcat might be eating rabbits. Okay. The interaction between foxes, cats, and rabbits is a huge problem for native mammals. The interaction between foxes, cats, and rabbits is a huge problem for native mammals. Native means of that place. In good years, rabbit numbers increase. Okay, so number increased, and fox and cat population grow quickly in response to abundance. Okay, so fox and cat were eating rabbit. As rabbit numbers increased, that means, resultantly, cat and fox population also grew because they had more amount of food to eat. So the food for fox and cat population was a rabbit. When bad seasons follow, rabbit numbers are significantly reduced. Okay, but now when there is a bad season, then the number reduces and the dwindling, but still large fox and cat population are left with little to eat besides native animals. Okay, so they used to eat native mammals and dwindling, but still, okay. So the rabbit population decreased significantly, but still large fox and cat population are left with little to eat besides native animals. So they were, left with very less to eat, and they also used to eat native mammals. All right, there is no mention of these things. Foxes and cats are more likely to hunt native animals when there are fewer Australian animals. So reproduction there. So we're not talking about reproduction, but we are talking about foxes and cat. So foxes and cat are more likely to hunt native animals. So basically, foxes and cats eat rabbits, but when rabbit is not there, they eat native animals. Because this line is saying that when the rabbit population decreases, still large fox and cat population are left with little to eat besides native mammals. Besides means along with this. So along with the rabbits, they will eat native mammals, but as rabbits population drops, they eat native mammals. The question says foxes and cats are more likely to hunt native animals when there are fewer rabbits. Because their main prey is rabbit. So when rabbit is less in number, then they hunt native animals. Okay. Then the 12th also. So 13 for 13, we have to see reproduction. This we won't be able to do. Here, structure of dingo group, like how they live, no. Research which young livestock, that they're not eating young livestock, no. rival species. Dingoes ensure that rival species. So there is no kind of rivalry yet, but there is an introduction of other species. A reference to widespread non-native species that other animals feed on. Yes. So in C, they are talking about non-native species, a reference to widespread non-native species that other animals feed on. All right, so they are talking about non-native species like fox, cat, rabbit. Uh, rabbit is also non-native. Okay, so a reference to widespread non-native species that other animals feed on, and they are also talking about eating. So praying. So the answer to this is C paragraph. All right, so we are done with this. We are left with second, rival species and livestock, and this one. That's it. All right, D. Australia's mammals generally reproduce much more slowly than rabbits. Okay, so now they are talking about reproduction, so maybe we are able to find this one. Australian animals reproduce at a slower rate as a natural way of avoiding dash. That means Australian animals are able to reproduce at a faster rate, but they are reproducing at a slower rate. Maybe there is some reason because they're saying as a natural way of avoiding dash. So they are reproducing at a slow rate to avoid something. So what is that? Australian mammals generally reproduce much slowly than rabbits, cats, and foxes, and adaptation to prevent. Okay, so the synonym for prevent is avoiding here, and avoiding overpopulation. That means preventing overpopulation. So answer to 13th is overpopulation. We're done with this. So we are just left with these ones. If we are able to find any one of these names, we'll mark. Otherwise, we are left with these. Where food can, okay, and adaptation to prevent overpopulation in the arid environment where food can be scarce and unreliable, and populations decline because they can't grow fast enough to replace animals killed by predators, Johnson says. Dingoes are the solution to this problem. So they were not talking about any solution. Because they keep cat and fox under, besides regularly eating the smaller predator, dingoes will kill them simply to lessen the competition. Okay. So lessen the competition means rival species. Besides regularly eating the smaller predators, dingoes will kill them simply to lessen competition. So, how dingoes ensure that their rival species means the species in competition, do not dominate. They are saying that they do not dominate. That means to lessen competition, they do so. So, answer to second is D. So, we're left with eating young livestock and group. Okay. Is it saying anything? Dingo packs live in large stable territories and generally have only one fertile, which limits their rate of increase. In 4,000 years that dingoes have been Australia, they have contributed to few of an extinction. Johnson says this. And so this paragraph talks about Johnson. Maybe something here. Dingoes tend to hunt native animals rather than hunting non-native. Dingoes have had little impact on the dying of animal species. All right. So let's read. Dingoes hunt native animals. So they are not comparing anything, native animals and non-native animals. Dingoes have little impact on dying out of animal species. And one more for D could be this structure. Because they are saying that dingo pack live in large stable territory, like in which kind of colonies they are living, due to which the fertility or something is getting impacted, which limits their rate of increase. Dingoes have been said they have contributed to few or any extinctions. Okay, so this paragraph is talking about like how in which kind of colonies they are living, and then this kind of thing is getting linked with their rate of increase or any kind of extinction. So the way the structure of dingo means how they are living affects how quickly their numbers grow. Their rate of increase means, is it increasing? Is it increasing at a slow pace? Is it increasing at a fast pace? So this is dependent on the way they are living. So D paragraph. And dingoes have had little impact on the dying out of animal species. So we are only left with livestock, and that's it. Livestock and this one. So this paragraph is not talking anything about livestock, that they are not eating the livestock, but they are left with. Dingoes tend to hunt native animals rather than hunting non-native animals. Dingoes have had little impact on the dying out of animal species in Australia. Okay. E paragraph. Reaching out. So we have to, so now need not to read everything because we just want one thing, which is eating young livestock. So we'll find that word and we'll find these names. So see if there is some name. And otherwise we should be all good. Livestock. According to McKinney. Okay. While there is no argument that dingoes will prey on sheep, if given chance, they don't hunt cattle. Once the calves are much past 2 or 3 weeks, calves means babies. So they're saying that they don't hunt them if they're just 2 or 3 weeks old. So they don't eat these young cattle. Resorted means they are not eating young livestock. So F. This one is F. Right. So now we are only left with 8th and 10th. Let's see. McKinney. So McKinney. So what McKinney? Okay. So what McKinney is saying? So we are only left with these two. Let's see. We have to find about these ones. So we are left with 3. So let's see this study. Lee Ellen. The study co-authored by Lee Ellen of this suggests that the aggressive baiting program used against the dingoes may actually be. So there's no need of reading entire thing because we just have to find these two ones. If they are talking about native animals and if they are talking anything about dying out of animal species, the dingoes have had little impact on the dying out of animal species. Dying out. Okay, Mark Clifford, and then they're talking about Clifford. In this one again, they're talking about McKinney, and they're again talking about Johnson. Dingoes tend to hunt native animals rather than hunting non-native. Native and non-native. Prey on kangaroos. So we have to find the names of native and non-native. It's obvious if we drop or loosen control on dingoes, we are going to lose more calves. He doesn't believe that dingoes will go after kangaroos when calves are around. Okay, so they're comparing. He doesn't believe that dingoes will go after kangaroos when calves are around, nor is he persuaded of dingoes' supposed ecological benefits, saying he's not convinced. They manage to catch cats, believing that they are more likely to catch small native animals instead. So what they will do is, what dingoes will do, so they're saying in these two lines, they're saying that he doesn't believe that dingoes will go after kangaroos when calves are around, and they are more likely to catch small native animals instead. That means they eat native animals, but not non-native. Dingoes tend to hunt native animals. Yes, instead. So G. All right, so we are just left with 10th. Dingoes have had a little impact on the dying out of animal species. So see which paragraph says dying out. This paragraph had no name. This paragraph has a name. Dingoes have had little impact on dying out of animals. Australian mammals, Johnson. Okay, population decline, maybe killing. Where food can be scarce and population decline because they can't grow fast enough to replace animals killed by predator. Johnson said dingoes are the solution to this problem because they keep cat and fox population under control. Besides regularly eating the smaller predator, dingoes will kill them simply to lessen competition. Dingo packs live in large stable territories and generally have few fertile, which limit the rate of increase. The dingoes have in Australia, they have contributed to few any extinctions. Dingoes have had a little impact on the dying out of. I think the answer could be D, but I just want to match it again. Dingoes have had little impact on the dying out of animal species. Australian mammals generally reproduce much slower than rabbits, cats, and foxes, and adaptation to prevent overpopulation, where food can be scarce and unreliable, and population decline because they can't grow fast enough to replace animals killed by predator. Animals killed. Okay, so they are talking about dying out of animals. Johnson said dingoes are the solution to this problem. And then they are saying that dingoes, because they keep cat and fox population under control. Okay, so they eat. So dingoes eat all these things. That's why they don't have anything to do. They keep cat fox population under control besides regularly eating the smaller. So they eat them. Okay, so this paragraph is talking about eating and then dying out of animals. And then if other ones are not talking anything about this thing like related, then the answer should be D. Let's see if they're talking about dying out of animals. This doesn't have any name. This has, but see if they are dying out. Yes, so I'm not convinced with any other paragraphs, so I will mark D as an answer for 10th. And and I had to check B, but there is no paragraph which is talking about barrier. So the answer to one is surely B. So we are, I guess, done with all. Yes. So this was all about today's reading. So this reading came in 9th October exam. So I am going to add a PDF for this one in the description box. So try to download it, attempt it, and then understand my explanation and see how good you are doing. Because this is a real exam reading, you will be able to understand your level of understanding so that you can, prepare yourself accordingly for the upcoming examination. So this was 9th October 2025 real exam reading. That's it. All right, so this was all for today. See you in the next video. If you want such more practice videos, if you want such more real reading exam questions, updated ones, then subscribe to my channel, like it, and share with your friends. So this is all for today. Bye for now.